From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
Kamala, you're fired!
I say, bring it on.
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America. Hello everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. More political maneuvers from Donald Trump as he prepares to take the oath of office in a matter of months. We've got the latest coverage from Washington and from Trump's transition headquarters in Florida. But before that, let's get you caught up on the most recent headlines. President-elect Donald Trump picked Susie Wiles as his White House chief of staff. Wiles was one of the two campaign managers for the Trump campaign and will now become the first woman ever to serve as White House chief of staff. Pro-Palestine demonstrators brutally assault Israeli football fans in Amsterdam, leaving several wounded. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemns the anti-Semitic attack and dispatches 2 planes to bring back the Israeli citizens. Russia's Vladimir Putin says he supports China's actions regarding Taiwan. Putin says Beijing is carrying out a completely reasonable policy towards the self-governed island. An Italian Navy ship carrying dozens of migrants docks in the East European country of Albania. This comes months after Italy signed a deal with Albania to deport 36,000 migrants to the Balkan nation. And Nigeria launches a nationwide campaign to vaccinate 24 million children against measles. The West African country has reported over 16,000 cases of measles just this year. We begin in Russia, where Vladimir Putin has congratulated President-elect Donald Trump days after he won a second term to the White House.
I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate him on his election as President of the United States. I have already said that we will work with any head of state that the American people have given them the mandate. This will indeed be the case in practice.
The Russian leader hailed Donald Trump's courage during the first assassination attempt against him in a Pennsylvania rally in July.
First of all, I can tell you, his behavior at the moment of the attempt on his life impressed me. He turned out to be a courageous man. And it's not just about raising his hand and calling for the fight for their common ideals. It's not just about that, although, of course, it was done in the heat of the moment. A person shows himself in extraordinary circumstances. This is where a person shows himself. And he showed himself, in my opinion, in a very correct way, courageously, like a man.
Now Putin has expressed his desire for dialogue with the president-elect to help end the war in Ukraine and bring peace to the region.
But what was said concerning the desire to restore relations with Russia, to help end the Ukrainian crisis, in my opinion, seems to me to be at least worthy of attention.
Throughout his re-election campaign, Donald Trump claimed that he will end the crisis in Ukraine within 24 hours of retaking the White House. However, the president-elect has not really elaborated on how he plans to end the war, which is the biggest in Europe since World War II. Now, Trump has suggested that his peace plan will include forcing Ukraine to cede some territories to Russia, halting military aid to Kyiv, and crushing Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's ambitions of joining NATO. Moments after President-elect Trump made his victory speech on Wednesday, President Zelensky was among the first world leaders to congratulate him. Since then, the two leaders have also had a phone conversation.
Yesterday, I spoke with President Trump, as many of you did, and it was productive conversation, good conversation. Of course, we cannot yet know what his actions will be, but we do hope that America will become stronger. And this is the kind of America that Europe needs. And a strong Europe is what America needs, to my mind. This is the connection between allies that must be valued and cannot be lost.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump says he's ready to hold talks with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. In fact, in a recent interview, the president-elect revealed he's spoken to around 70 world leaders since his win, but hasn't talked to Putin just yet. Both Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have long admired each other, sparking criticism at home. In fact, last month, a book by journalist Bob Woodward revealed that both leaders may have spoken as many as 7 times since the Republican left the White House in 2021. During his first term, Donald Trump also reportedly sent COVID-19 test kits to Putin when they were still scarce and the pandemic was at its peak. This raises questions on whether the president-elect's personal bond with Vladimir Putin will adversely impact Ukraine in the months ahead. And now to the United States. A federal judge in Texas has ruled against President Joe Biden's program that seeks to give legal status to unauthorized immigrants who are spouses of American citizens. The program, named Keeping Families Together, was announced by the Biden administration in June when the president was still running for re-election. However, U.S. District Judge J. Campbell Barker put a hold on the program in August as it was challenged by Texas and 15 other states. Now, the same judge who was appointed by President-elect Donald Trump in his first term has put the policy on hold. According to the program, undocumented migrants who are married to U.S. citizens and have lived in the country for 10 years or more are eligible for work permits and deportation protections. The policy also allows eligible migrant spouses to apply for a green card or permanent residency. And after 3 years, these spouses can apply for American citizenship. Now, American law requires illegal migrants to go back and return legally to get a green card. But with President Biden's policy, they would have been able to apply for a green card without leaving the country, which the Texas court says is illegal.
By marrying a U.S. citizen, you don't get automatic citizenship. There's a whole process that comes after that. And all that we're asking for right here in this Keeping Families Together parole process is for the opportunity to remain with our families, to go through the process like any other person and remain in this country.
Data shows some 1.1 million undocumented migrants are married to U.S. citizens and live in America. Out of them, around 500,000 undocumented spouses qualify for the Keeping Families Together program. Meanwhile, Donald Trump says one of his priorities upon taking office is to make the border stronger and powerful, a remark that is concerning for thousands of asylum seekers.
Don't be bad people. Please don't be selfish with us migrants. We are human beings just like you. Give us a chance to get over there. Even give us a chance to get to Canada, since you don't want us in your country. But give us the opportunity. We can't be here. We are in a bad situation. We have been kidnapped, women raped, migrants killed. Please help us.
In a recent interview, the president-elect said he has no choice but to carry out mass deportations to keep the country safe. Officials warned that the deportation program would be a huge logistical and financial challenge and could cost billions of dollars. However, Donald Trump insists on deporting the undocumented immigrants as he believes that people entering the United States should come with a sense of love for the country, but only legally. And now shifting focus to the southern border with Mexico, where hundreds of migrants are abandoning their journey towards the United States. The caravan, which began earlier this week with around 3,000 migrants, has now dwindled to just half after Donald Trump won re-election.
We wanted to get to the United States. Now that Trump won, we do not know what to do. May it be God's will, since we are taking this course, that we have to arrive, even if it is to knock on the door, to see if they open it for us. I don't know what to do anymore, because we left a very terrible regime. Returning to Venezuela is like being shot in the head.
Donald Trump doesn't like Latinos. Donald Trump said he was going to remove all Latinos from the United States, a massive deportation. So now it's going to be harder to get in. There are going to be new laws, new regulations, new rules, and now it's going to be harder for us Latinos to get there.
In his winning speech, the president-elect reiterated his commitment to seal the borders, insisting that only legal immigration would be allowed. The president-elect's plan could further impose limitations on Biden-era programs like humanitarian parole and temporary protected status that temporarily allow some migrants to remain in the United States.
We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country, and we made history for a reason.
For migrants who use social media platforms like Telegram to track the U.S. immigration policies, the election outcome has dampened their hopes severely. Several expressed frustration, with some saying that had there been a woman president like Claudia Sheinbaum, their lives would take a different trajectory.
I wanted them to elect a woman in the United States elections just as we did here. That way they would have seen eye to eye, because Mr. Trump is arbitrary, misogynist, racist.
Now, throughout the campaign, Donald Trump vowed to complete his border wall and deport millions of illegal immigrants. He's even promised to hire an additional 10,000 Border Patrol agents and impose tougher restrictions on asylum.
So in order to meet the goal of hiring 10,000 new agents, we need the agents. We need them badly. And keeping our incredible veteran agents on the force. Don't leave us.
A post-election YouGov survey shows that Donald Trump has the support of 53% of Americans on immigration matters, compared to just 45% for Vice President Kamala Harris. As of now, the reality for migrants remains uncertain as they weigh their next steps, with many deciding to give up on their chances of crossing into the United States. After the vice president's unexpected loss to Donald Trump, Democrats are now analyzing what went wrong. Some point to a cautious campaign, while others point to President Joe Biden's choice of passing the torch to Kamala Harris. The White House, through Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, has defended President Biden's decision, calling it the right choice. Yet concerns about the Democratic Party's strategy and messaging persist. Was this simply a campaign misstep, or are there deeper issues at play? Our next report examines the challenges facing Democrats.
Democratic nominee for president, Vice President of the United States.
It was supposed to be Kamala Harris's moment. After Joe Biden's reluctant decision to pass her the torch, the Democrats believed they were ready to fight, ready to win. But in a brutal defeat, Harris failed to secure the White House,
And the future President Trump overperformed,
handing Donald Trump an unexpected victory, which has shaken the party to its core. Now the Democrats are scrambling, asking one big question: what went so horribly wrong? Some blame Harris's cautious campaign. Others point to Biden himself, accusing the 81-year-old president and his inner circle of recklessly setting up the party for failure.
Biden may not have seen it, but those around him knew. Biden's physical decline might doom the party.
And yet they let it happen. The post-mortem of this campaign reveals the full extent of Harris's loss, a loss that went far beyond swing states. She lost ground everywhere, including in blue strongholds. And the numbers are jarring. Biden pulled 57% of women. Harris dropped to 54%. Biden carried 71% voters of color. Harris fell to 65%.
So anyway, now I'm happy that he's back, so we can get in, things going. Right now, everything is really bad, the economy and all this stuff. The abortion, you know what, it can be, work on it, you know what I mean?
I just believe that I resonate more with the Trump policies than I do on the Democrat side. I've been Democrat my entire life. Families voted Democrat. I probably have been the only family member that decided to step aside and vote for the Republican Party, because I believe their values are more in line with my culture as well as my family culture and values.
11% left. For many Democrats, the questions are piling up. Why did Harris's team focus so heavily on abortion rights? Why did they fail to engage with Black and Latino men a weakness the party has known about for years. The criticisms are fierce, but they don't stop with Harris. Democratic insiders now say that her lack of a bold campaign strategy left her vulnerable. She let the GOP define her. Republicans piled on the pressure and said that Harris and her running mate Tim Walz seemed to go into hiding, avoiding interviews for weeks after the convention.
It was expected. He clearly has been having serious issues with his cognitive function for a while, so it was no surprise. But, these calls that Harris is going to be any different. She's actually worse than Biden. They've run the country into the ditch, and she's the border czar, and, the American people are hurting, so we're going to change course and get our country back on track.
Some saw it as a major misstep, and among them was Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary. Addressing these frustrations in her first public statement since the former president's win, she doubled down on Biden's decision to pass the torch.
The president is very proud of what he was able to accomplish. He was very proud when he made that decision to hand over the torch, pass the torch to the vice president. He believed it was the right decision to make at that time. This was not the outcome that our team had wanted. So are we disappointed? Yes, we are disappointed. It would be false for me to say that we were not. He believed it was the right decision to make at that time. He believed that she was ready. She was ready to lead on day one and has been very proud in what he's been able to deliver.
But as Biden's defenders circle the wagons, the whispers are growing louder. Did the Biden administration plan this all along? Did they set up Harris for a fall? These theories have been fueled further after Biden gave his address and declared defeat.
I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution. On January 20th, we'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America.
But what stuck with everyone was that Biden spoke without stuttering. He was all smiles and even had a few winks here and there. Biden even made a few funny gestures before attempting to trot away from the podium. Many social media users said that Biden looked a decade younger and spoke with clarity that they hadn't seen in 4 years. Some even said that Biden looked the happiest they had ever seen. With the Democrats fighting each other and President Biden signing off in a jolly mood, one thing is clear: the soul-searching is far from over.
And finally, we examine the long-standing rivalry between former President Barack Obama and Donald Trump. It's believed that the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner created the rift between the two when President Obama roasted the president-elect. However, their beef goes back much further when Donald Trump falsely claimed that Barack Obama was not a U.S. citizen. The two have taken numerous shots at each other since 2016, when Donald Trump first ran for president. From cordial to sour, relations between the two have drastically changed over the decade. Here's more on their rift between the two presidents.
The war of words between former President Barack Obama and President-elect Donald Trump goes back over 10 years. It began in 2008 when Obama was running for president. The race for the White House took a nasty turn when Democrat Hillary Clinton's campaign forwarded emails which questioned Obama's birthplace. The email said that Obama was born in the African nation of Kenya, a claim that stuck with America's first black president for years. Fanning the birth certificate claims was Donald Trump, who latched on to the allegations. He repeatedly questioned whether Obama was indeed born in the United States or in Kenya. But Trump wouldn't have gone all out if Obama hadn't brought it up in 2011 while he was running for president. Speaking at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Obama started his speech with his birth certificate proof. The Correspondents' Dinner is a high-profile event organized by the White House where select journalists, entrepreneurs and scholars attend the gala. It's mostly a night where the President of the United States shows their fun side. But the night of April 30th, 2011, which was supposed to be a roast of Obama, turned into the roast of Donald Trump.
There's a vicious rumor floating around that I think could really hurt Mitt Romney. I heard he passed universal health care when he was governor of Massachusetts. Someone should get to the bottom of that. And I know just the guy to do it. Donald Trump is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
A red-faced Donald Trump stared straight, wondering why he became Obama's target. And it was perhaps that very day that prompted the business tycoon to run for president and get his revenge. Coincidentally, attending the 2011 dinner hosted by Obama was Elon Musk, who has played an instrumental role in winning Trump a second term this election. So when Donald Trump decided to run in 2016, he was up against Hillary Clinton, Obama's former Democrat foe. In June 2016, Trump announced that he would run for president. His first political potshots were at Obama, calling him the worst president ever. Obama then went to the Jimmy Kimmel Live show and participated in the Mean Tweets Challenge. He read out Donald Trump's tweet and said, "At least I will go down as president." However, that didn't age well, because a few months later, Trump went on to defeat Clinton and took over the White House from Obama. However, the exchange of power was surrounded by another controversy after Melania Trump gave Michelle Obama an awkward Inauguration Day gift, a picture frame. Over the years, verbal attacks between Obama and Trump have gotten nastier. Even in the 2024 presidential election, Obama attacked Trump while campaigning for Kamala Harris.
When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. Have you noticed that? Who does that? You're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. Gold sneakers, $100,000 watch. Supposed to be Swiss watch, he says. The best watch. Why are you selling the watch? What are you doing? My favorite is the Trump Bible. True story. True story. I mean, it's embossed with his name right on it. Donald Trump edition, right next to Matthew and Luke. Donald. And I'll give you one guess where those Bibles are made.
But Trump isn't one to hold back. The Republican has a thick skin and often gives it back to his rivals. So he decided to go after both Barack and Michelle Obama.
You know what's nasty to me? Michelle Obama. She was, ooh. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh. Shouldn't be that way. That was a big mistake that she made.
The beef between Obama and Trump goes back more than a decade now. Obama would often joke that Donald Trump would never be the president. But then, here we are. Donald Trump is returning to the White House as the 47th President of the United States. It all started with Barack Obama deciding to roast an audience member at the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner. Only that audience member, aka Donald Trump, took the jokes to heart. He's now delivered the Democrats 2 blows in the 2016 and 2024 presidential elections. As he gets ready to leave his luxury resort in Florida and return to the majestic White House in Washington, D.C., it is truly Donald Trump who's having the last laugh.
That's all we have time for today. Thanks everyone so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow. Thanks again for watching. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
Kamala, you're fired.
I say, bring it on.
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on First Post America.
Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on First Post, where we get you the top 50 stories from around the world. I'm Alison LaGrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin. In our top stories, US President Joe Biden has assured a peaceful transfer of power to President-elect Donald Trump. Biden also urged the citizens to bring down the temperature. Biden's remarks follow Trump's election victory. President Biden also hailed his deputy Kamala Harris and said that she led